a second. Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to another episode of the Phone Flipping Show. Today, guys, we are talking about reach outs. Um, and that's Matt's sauce, right? That's Matt's thing. um, but today, guys, yeah, we're gonna be talking about reach outs. We're gonna be going over three specific parts of reach outs. What are the best items to reach out for? And we're gonna kind of go from there. Matt, you look like you're frozen. Are you still there? Boy, I think we might have lost Matt. Or is it me? Am I live? Am I good? Hey guys, what is? Oh, there he is. He's back. All right, what's up, dude? All right, guys.
Hey, bro.
So for those of you who might just now be watching the show, guys, this is the Phone Flipping Show. This is where we kind of talk about tactics and things like that
Yes, it is.
to help you guys win. A couple of resources. If you guys want to sell us some devices, you can check the description link below for our price sheet. Mercury Electronics, you can check that out. Sell us some phones, sell us some iPads. We're paying pretty well for those. You can message Aaron through WhatsApp. There's a link inside of the price sheet for that. If you guys want some other good stuff, we got the Tech Flips Profit ebook on episode 11 of the Smart Flip podcast. You can find that on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, and I guess wherever else you listen to podcasts. So check that out. It's a great book. If you want the PDF version, you can download that for $4.95 at resellingelectronicsforprofit.com/buy ebook. And with that being said, let's talk about some reach outs.
Let's do it.
Reach outs is the way most people who come into this business, right? They just kind of go on Facebook Marketplace and offer up, and
Yep.
sometimes Craigslist, and find some stuff to sell or buy, I guess. And if you guys know us, you guys know that my story in general, I used to never do reach outs ever. I thought it was a waste of time. Until I met Matt Shirley, and he
Guilty.
proved me wrong on game consoles. And then I heard Hormozy talking about how he built Gym Launch 50% of that company
Wow.
off cold DMing and cold calling people. So yeah. Yeah. So here we are now talking about it.
Here we are.
As far as reach outs go, guys, there's three main topics I want to talk about today. Is number one, speed to lead. And that's a term that either Hormozy made or somebody else made. But basically the fastest person to get to somebody or the contact will likely get the deal, right? And
Yeah.
then we have volume, just going out, sending out a ton of messages to, get people.
Yeah.
It's a volume game, right? And then the last part is following up. So we'll talk about all three on this episode and go from there. So with that being said, Matt, do you want to talk about a little bit about reach outs? Because that's kind of your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Lead.
Well, a lot of people, I think, anticipate that in order to be really effective resellers, they need to, I don't know, right from the jump, spend money in some kind of way. And reach outs is what's so great about reach outs is you do have to spend your time, your focus, your energy, but it can be a really lucrative way to build a business, especially if you don't even understand what ad spend is yet, if you have no idea how much money you might need, but you just want to start trying to make 500 or $1,000. It's a fantastic way to get your foot in the door and also to get good at what you're not presently good at, which is probably negotiations, assessing value, appraising items, and also familiarity just with people and products, getting your hands on some conversations with people face to face, getting hands on with some of the product so that you can clean it up, get it on eBay, find out like what's the secret of all these different things that I want to flip. And so there's a whole world of marketplaces out there. There's Facebook Marketplace, which is probably where you're going to find the dominant amount of deals. I would say that roughly 70 to 80% of the deals I still score are from Facebook Marketplace. Why? Because that's where most of the people are. That's probably the most saturated space, or I won't want to say saturated, just busiest, right? There's a lot of people on Facebook. OfferUp, not as popular, but there's still deals there, especially if you live in a bigger city. You can't skip any of these. If you live in a more metropolitan area, you are sleeping on money if you skip OfferUp. Craigslist, which still has like a user interface of like Windows 95. Not It's not like the most exciting space to look at visually, but there's still money there. Chris's best Valve Index flip ever came from Craigslist on a reach out that he drove
Yep.
to.
Yeah, $1,000 profit.
Okay, so I picked up a Valve Index about 4 weeks ago for $100. It was broken. It was on Facebook Marketplace, and the guy didn't think it was worth much because the headset was messed up. I bought it for $100. I sold everything on eBay for $500. So there's advantages to either. Like we both got the same kind of deal similarly, but just different spaces. And then finally, excuse me, the one that not as many people talk about is Nextdoor app. And Nextdoor is a great space for both posting free ads that not people use very often for that reason, and then also still finding deals. I bought a Nintendo Wii U about 6 weeks ago from Nextdoor, paid $30 for it, flipped it, sold everything for about 180. So that's a pretty good ROI, folks. And I found it on Nextdoor. Right? So not super difficult to use any of these platforms. Just sign up and start looking for deals. Start doing searches. Oculus, Nintendo Switch, Xbox, VR, right? And the list goes on. There's tons of stuff you could look for, guys, but we emphasize flipping electronics around here, more specifically like me, consoles and VR systems and video games. And Chris, he started on phones and Apple products, but I mean, essentially, like I'll still flip phones too. So we're both kind of like at our hands in, each pot sort of. So yeah, if you want the quick overview of reach outs, I would say that those are all great places to start in ways that you can make money.
Exactly. So, um, now I wanted to talk about like I'm a systems guy, right? So I like to put things systematized in a systematized way.
Totally.
Um, so I like to break things up a little bit, right? So there's three main ways that I recommend really capitalizing on reach outs. And for me, whenever I started doing reach outs, guys, like I did not enjoy it at all, like for real. Like Matt knows this. I use Matt's process, and I got the three ping method, and it works. It does. I will say that. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, but guys, I'm a system scientist. I have to find the easiest way to make it happen, right?
Fair. That's fair.
So what I've come to realize is that number one of the most important things is speed to lead. Okay. If you can catch somebody early enough, and this goes for all facets of communication, the faster you respond, the more likely you are to get the deal.
Yeah.
Okay, just like that's a real thing. If you call somebody within a minute of them filling out your Google form, the likelihood that you close the deal is high. Okay.
Very. Hmm.
Um, so like, and if you can do the same thing with marketplace, then that makes it even better, right?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, like none of us have enough time to just sit there and just like refresh marketplace over and over again, right? Like
Right.
that's not.
Yeah.
So I actually do recommend a tool here. I do recommend Marketplace Monitor for that.
Hmm.
Um, they are great. Matt's used them. I've used them. They're pretty
Hmm.
good. We get notifications all the time about new listings, so I'd recommend that. Okay. Now um, you guys can find more details and stuff in the description below if you want. Now there's a second part to this that I really like dove into hard, and I had to like come to this realization, right? Because with Facebook leads, it was like I closed one or two people out of 10, right? It was a volume game. I understood that, right? Now
Right.
with reach outs, your closing ratio is much lower, especially in the beginning,
Yeah.
as it's a different type of customer, right? They're already trying to sell their stuff, like they're there, but they want a
Right.
certain price, right? So it comes down to a volume game. And for me, what I did is I built what I called my shotgun method, which is I basically just created a message that said, "Hey, I run a company that buys used and damaged phones and electronics. Um, and I buy phones, MacBooks, iPads, smartwatches, cameras, and more. If I were able to pay cash today, would you take a lower price? I think Matt, you were using something similar to this a while back.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
saw it, but it works, right? So, um, and I like to call like there's three parts to that too. So the first part is what I call the pre-frame, right? So it's like, hey, I run a business that buys blah blah blah, right?
Right.
That number one, professionalism right out of the gate, right? Shows you're serious. Number
Hmm.
two, I run a company that buys phones, MacBooks, iPads, smartwatches, cameras. Bam, upsell immediately. And then the benefit is at the end. Would you take a lower price if I paid cash today? Right? It works. It's got three parts to it. It's very simple. Okay.
Hmm.
You can literally change out your little message, the little hi, is it still available message for that, and just press send over and over again. And it works out very well. So yeah, see that's important, and you got to do that a lot. Um, with reach outs, I mean, I'm gonna say like you need to be doing at least 5,200 a day at this point if you're gonna go the volume way, right?
That's
Um,
true. I agree with that. If
you're
you
gonna
really are trying to do an ambitious amount of earnings or profit on a regular basis, yeah, you probably, I'd say like 20 to 30 is a great start, but like 50 is probably a healthy minimum.
Well, I think if you can't do speed to lead, right? Like if you can't be the first person messaging the
Yeah.
person after you drop it, then you have to do volume, right? Like speed to lead is the most important by
Yeah.
far. The
Hmm.
faster you contact somebody, the better. That's why I recommend marketplace monitors because they do that, right? Even the
Yeah.
software that I had, Resale Hawk, it would notify you once a day, like which is not there anymore. But um, they do a pretty good job of less than 2 minutes, which is pretty substantial, actually. I don't even know how they're able to do it. But if you can be the first person to message, that's the most important. But if you can't be and you can't pay for a software like that or something, then I recommend Volume Game. All
Yeah.
right, Volume is free. You just hundreds. um, but then there's a third part to all of this too, guys. The third part is simply following up with people. Okay. And this is important because nobody does this. Like
This is very true. No one does.
nobody ever does this, especially on things like gaming consoles and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like Matt, you follow up with people,
I do. Hmm.
all the time, right? I follow up with people. And for me, it's just like, hey, following up on this, or hey, I saw this was still up for sale. Are you still trying to sell it? Like I
Yeah.
like to hit them with stuff like that. Also following up works in another way. It actually shows that you're a professional. Like
Yeah.
that's a real thing. Most people never follow up, and that's I call it FU money, right? Like it's a real thing. If you follow up, you will make more money. That's just how the game works. That's sales 101.
Hmm.
Um, Matt, how often do you follow up with people? I mean, you cherry pick. So,
Yeah.
like, you want to talk about cherry picking a little bit?
Sure. When Chris says cherry pick, I look for deals specifically. Now, there's a method that is taught within Recelerator and, of course, Console Kings where I teach people, okay, how do you actually find out what the appropriate offer price is for an item? Like, where do you know when to, what we call anchoring, anchor the customer at the right price so you can start the conversation from there and have some margin to negotiate up if you need to. So I typically find items that are roughly $50 to $75 off the mark of what I'd want to pay anyway. And then I look to optimize my offers by more exclusively just making offers on those kinds of deals. It ensures that I typically land more deals more frequently and I don't have to go chasing as often. So my close rate is typically about two out of every five. Um, but that's because, guys, I'm very exclusive on what I'm making offers on. Now, it could be like the conversation I had 2 days ago on an Oculus Quest 1 headset, where I was pretty much in the process of closing the deal, went to select the time the person wanted to meet, and they just stopped messaging me because sometimes people on Facebook are just completely ridiculous. But most of the time, that doesn't happen. So, anyway,
Yeah, sometimes people are really weird about that stuff.
straight up.
Um, and that's just how they are, right? So, um, but yeah, I mean, guys, it really comes down to like, just honestly, you got to get in the reps with reach outs. Like that's the game.
Yep.
You have to do that. There's no way around it. I feel like people try and find ways around it, and there's just no way around it. Like you have to um,
Pay your dues,
put
man.
in the time.
Yeah,
Like,
pay your dues. Yeah. I think
yeah,
I think Chris, something that should be expressed and people should be aware of is if you don't like reach outs, you maybe shouldn't resell. And I'm only saying that because anything you want to try to pick up or get is like, even if it's free on a marketplace, you're still going to have to message somebody to go get it. And in addition, if you say you wanted Chris's tutelage, say you hire Chris or you buy his course and you go, all right, let me go ahead and start spending money to get inbound customers through ad spend. Well, how are you going to curate that skill to negotiate with customers on phones if you haven't sharpened the skill or the tool previously? Like reach outs is basically a prerequisite in my opinion. This is like middle school, moving towards high school or college, right? But these are your prerequisites for or rites of passage for making sure that the money that you spend when you're actually running ads is like worth what you're actually spending. Otherwise, you are throwing money in a hole. Do you think that's true, Chris?
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, so if you guys, can you see this image, Matt?
Yeah,
So reps build mastery, guys. Like, this is something that I got coming from my new book that I'm reading or I'm making. But the first, 1,000 reach outs you do, you're gonna be confused. All right. You're gonna be figuring out the process. You're gonna be getting ghosted, overthinking every offer, second guessing every value. You feel like you're working hard and getting nowhere, right? But the next 1,000 to 3,000, you're going to start noticing some patterns. There's going to be some pattern recognition going on, right? You're going to start seeing buyer behavior trends. You know which listings to skip. You start pricing faster. You start negotiations, and they start feeling similar and familiar. You still make mistakes, but fewer. And then once you've done, like 3,000 plus, like you start getting speed, control, and mastery. You're fast, confident, and calm. You know your offer range on site. You close without overthinking.
mhm.
Appraisals feel like an instinct. You're no longer just reacting, but you're leading,
Let's
right?
go. Let's go.
So, um, and
And
everything is hard until it's not. Quoted by Matt Shirley down here.
dang,
Uh,
I made the book. Thank you, Chris.
Made the book, yeah. So, but like the first 1,000 reach outs you do, guys, is all learning.
It
So
is.
don't feel like you're doing a bad job when you've only done 50. Like no like that that's normal.
I'm so glad you showed that slide. I think so many people they want you guys, some of you that hear this, some people that are trying to do this maybe on your own, like you're wanting to shoot from the hip like you're a seasoned pro and you
Mhm.
don't have that skill yet. Like you just don't. And you want this to feel intuitive and instinctual and you want to have a gut for something that you haven't cultivated a sense of smell or taste for in the first place. And so you got to put in work, man. You got to pay the man. Like you got to pay your dues, put in the work, get the reps, and then realize, oh, okay. And then you start to feel the nuances of what this feels like. Oh, I probably shouldn't have said that statement because this
Yep.
guy came at me like this. And I
Yeah.
responded like this. I'm not even speaking their language. Like I didn't even model or mirror how they were coming at me. Like these are all things that a lot of people want to start from when they see like a seasoned master like Chris or our master negotiator Aaron Goldstein, who just, you know, closes deals what seems like flawlessly. When I think we know his story and we can both say we can testify to Aaron on his behalf that it started anything but flawlessly for this guy. Like he used to be like palm sweaty, mom spaghetti, all like the whole nine yards, right? And so I'm really glad you
Yeah.
showed that, man.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all about systems, right? Like that's who I am. I need it broken down for me, right? So,
Hmm.
but I remember when Navon joined, and I always I like to mention Navon because the story is so unique in the way he came in.
Yeah,
The man bought a fake phone. I had to talk him off the ledge off of quitting,
straight up. Yeah.
and like he used every tool in the book. He used Marketplace Monitor. He used all sorts of stuff, right, to make reach outs happen. Um, the dude did 3,600 reach outs in his very first month within Reaccelerator.
That's
3,600.
crazy.
So Do you guys think if you did 3,600 reach outs your very first month, first 30 days,
Yep.
that's over 100 a day, you think you'd
Yep.
get pretty good pretty fast? It's kind of how it works, right?
Yes, indeed.
Like a lot of you guys are acting like you should walk into the MLB and, and hit home runs.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? It doesn't. Especially when the best batters in history, you know, in the Hall of Fame hit 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it, right? So,
Yeah,
um,
right. The best to ever do it were like
yeah, 30%.
350 batting. Like Tony Gwynn, I think was like 379 was his best season ever.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So, like, don't feel bad starting out, guys. Like, you just got to start. That's what it is. And if you start, you will get good. And just like Matt says, everything's hard until it's not.
It's
Um,
true.
and another thing is the first 1,000 are learning. If you can knock down those first 1,000 reach outs
Hmm.
pretty quickly, you'll learn pretty fast. And the great thing I love about this business, guys, is like you can screw up and still make money. Like that's one thing I love about this business is like you can you can make the wrong offer even if it's low. And some people get upset. They're like, "Ah, Chris, I only made $40." Like, bro, you could have made nothing. Like, you know, um, so you still learn, and that's one thing I love about this business. Is like even a lot of the times, even when we do lose, we still win. Um, so a lot of my students just break even sometimes on certain deals, and that's cool, right?
Yep.
So, um, that's about all I have on reach outs, actually. I'll throw this visual up there for you guys again. Um, I think it's good, and it'll definitely be in the book. Um, because I think it's incredibly powerful. Um,
Yeah.
your first 1,000 reach outs are learning. All of it's learning. I remember whenever I first started doing my first 1,000, I didn't have this. I didn't have a framework like this. All I had was Matt's framework on the three ping method and how to do it effectively in the game console stuff that we had.
Hmm.
Um, and I remember doing looking back, yeah, in the beginning it was tough. I didn't know what I was doing. Um, I mean, I had guidance. I could reach out to Matt, which was nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which guidance is nice. Um, so yeah, I remember my first Valve Index. I reached out to you. I was like, "Is this a deal, bro?" You were like, "Yeah, bro, go get that." So, um, and it's cool that we've been able to do that for a lot of students now too. We had
Yeah.
Christian join last week. He picked up those MetaQuest Pros, by the way.
Yeah.
Um,
He sent me a photo of some of them, which I thought was pretty sick.
yeah, it's pretty awesome. For you guys that are, you want to make sure that we're not just like lying. Guys, we got people winning every day. Like this is a constant thing. We go here to Recelerator, and show you guys some wins that we have going on because we always have wins happening inside
Mhm.
of our licensing program.
Yes, sir.
Um, wins. You guys can see wins on top of wins here. More wins, whatever that is. Random tablet. Bought it for 200. He sold it for $449. Heck yeah.
Let's
Man, look
go.
at Jude. $2,000 in profit off of test strip stuff.
Crazy. That's
How is my
fantastic.
group turning into a test strip group without me? I didn't even I don't know, man. We called it Recelerator for a reason, right? So
Yeah,
uh
absolutely.
here's wins on top of wins over and over again, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Like it just keeps on going every single day. I love this photo. This is a great photo. Just phones on top of the test strip stuff too, which is pretty cool.
Hmm.
Um, by the way, just so you guys are aware, I don't teach test strips. Like it's not something I do. And I don't plan on it. Like we are the electronics guys. My students just I brought in a guy for our licensees a couple weeks ago, and he showed them what to do in terms of this. And I do bring in experts to the mentorship program every now and then to teach people different things and stuff like that. And the students took that. I think they created their own Slack community for it. Not community, but inside of my group that I don't have access to. But it's all good.
So for the record, guys, Chris is not here to teach weight loss programs or
Exactly.
how to
Oh,
flex.
yeah, that too. Stop reaching out about that. People keep asking me how I lost so much weight. I'm like, I ate steak, eggs, coffee, water. That's it.
75 days.
75 days.
There you
Don't,
go, guys.
yeah. I still
Get
have
your
people reaching out about that.
get your reps in.
How'd you do that? Get your reps in. Yeah.
Get your reps in. I
Just do
I
the
would
same thing every day.
yep. So, guys, if you listen, as like a final plug for anybody who's listening to this, and literally maybe you're hearing us for the first time and you just want to go make some money real fast, okay? Jump on Facebook Marketplace, see if you can find like a free TV of some kind, okay? Just go to Marketplace, type in free stuff, or type curb alert and see what pops up. If you find any kind of electronics sitting on someone's corner or curb nearby, see if it's possible that you could go pick some of that stuff up. And then go find the model number for those items, look them up on eBay, okay? See if there's any value. Make sure you plug them in, see if they work, and if they are, try to get it sold. If you have nothing to start with, that would be an excellent, most excellent way to make some initial venture capital, all right, to begin to buy or flip electronics, okay? Don't say we didn't give you a little plug on how to start this literally from scratch, from zero, okay? And if you want to do the thing, Recelerator is the name of the game if you're really looking to scale your business. If you just want to start a basic side hustle, Console Kings, which I run, will hook you guys up. But Chris or I would love to connect with anybody who's looking to take their business or side hustle to the next level.
Absolutely, guys. For those of you that are just, starting out, um, you know, and you want a pretty low risk one, I would definitely recommend Console Kings. Um, we do have some updated terms on joining Recelerator. Yeah, buddy. Homeschoolers, man. Um, okay.
Freaking kids always needing help.
I
God.
know. Look at a video with this little camera.
Oh,
Uh,
that's awesome.
but yeah, for those of you that are just starting out, okay, I'm still on the call, okay, buddy.
You got to love the excitement, man. It's awesome being a
Yeah, for
dad.
sure. Yeah. Um, Console Kings for the beginners. You guys can also join my free Facebook group and the school community. And we got some cool stuff in there. And then we do have, I don't think I said this. So we do have some new terms for the Recelerator licensing program.
Hmm.
Previously mentorship, but now we are licensing our model to people. So obviously it's a higher price tag, but we recently did create something for people called Momentum. For those people that don't have an LLC and haven't done $1,000 in profit in a month yet, because that is the terms to actually join reseller the licensing program at this point. You have to have an LLC, have to. All right. You have to be legit at this point. Um, and then you have to have done at least $1,000 in profit in a month before you can join. We only work with people that are serious in that program. Um, if you want to just join a community of like-minded individuals, then Momentum is the way to go. It's $200 a month. You get access to every single weekly call that we offer, twice a week. So, and then also access to the Slack community, which is honestly a great deal because my students
Yeah.
are always telling me the community is the best part of the program anyway. So,
And I think they're right. It really is special.
yeah, makes me feel bad because all the work I did on the courses, but it is what it is. All good. But see you guys next week.